Hey guys, Papa Pete here. Last time out, we went to St. Andrews, New Brunswick for the town-wide yard sale, and I showed you a bunch of great pickups. Well, this time, it's here in my hometown of St. Stephen, and I had some more great pickups. Let's take a look.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Okay guys, I got some great things this week. Quite a few. Lots of things sitting here beside me to show you. Anyway, let's start things off with, token PC game like I did down in St. Andrews. You see some people, you go in and ask, they go and get something out of the back, you sort of want to pick it up. And this is kind of interesting because I can remember playing this game, or the very first edition of this game back when I was in university. SimCity 4. Just a PC game. I'll probably put it in and play it a little bit. See if it works alright. Complete the box. How do you beat that? Again, not something I normally pick up, but I almost always seem to find a token PC game when I'm out. I'd love to find some big box PC games from the early 2000s or the 90s. We used to have a lot of those. I've got a lot of discs here. I don't have a lot of boxes. Anyway, that's not a bad pickup. Alright, so I stopped into one, and I was really happy with this pickup. I picked up a PlayStation Original, complete in box. And it came with, it was a Mad Catz, I think, gamepad. Okay, I haven't really gone through it all. All the parts are supposed to be in here. The girl who had it said she played it back when she was in university and had it tucked away, and decided that, you know what? It's been sitting there for a few years, so she decided to sell it. I picked it up for 20 bucks. How do you beat that? A few games came with it. Just a demo disc like that came from Pizza Hut with a few demos from Spyro and a few other games. I got Monopoly, Tetris Plus, The Game of Life, one of the Underground Jam Packs. I used to have a few of those back when I played a lot of PlayStation back in the 90s. And the one I find most interesting at all, Twisted Metal 2. That's a great game. I really enjoy that one. It's a greatest hits edition. It's got a broken jewel case. I'll probably swap that out, but still, overall, it's a great game. Okay guys, the next place that I stopped was the local SPCA, who was having their annual fundraiser. And I was going through, and the stuff is just all donations, and it's pretty much all over within the SPCA building itself. And I found a couple DS games, but I kept taking a look inside, and there was no game in them. So the first time I thought, well, maybe I'll ask, and then I found a couple more in a different room altogether. So when I'm back out, I decided to ask. What I found was Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box, Hotel Dusk, Room 215, and of course the one I found the most interesting, Super Mario Brothers. There's no games in any of them. I asked. I was hoping that maybe they had taken the games out, put them away so somebody wouldn't steal them, but unfortunately they hadn't done that. So whether somebody went in and stole the games out and left the boxes there, I would hate to think that somebody would do that to like an SPCA trying to raise money. Or maybe, and really more likely, probably these are just laying around somebody's house and they threw them into the bag to go with the donations for the SPCA to sell. But anyway, I picked them up and they said, oh my, there's no games in them, you can have them. So, you know what?
What?
I grabbed 3 or 4 other things. It was just by donation anyway, so I threw in a couple extra bucks and picked up some game cases. I'll probably be able to find these games somewhere. And now I already got the manuals and the boxes for them. Now, one thing that I thought going into this year's yard sale, which I hadn't done so much before, is I'm going to be more aware of Wii games. Because I think that last few years I sort of fixated a little bit too much on the older stuff. And I overlooked a lot of really good games, Wii games, Xbox games, maybe even Xbox 360 depending on what they are, but there's a lot of stuff kicking around for those, but Wii games especially. So I did pick up 5 Wii games last weekend. First one, Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. Complete in box, great shape. Destroy All Humans, Big Willie Unleashed. Again, complete in the box, it's just pristine. You know that I'm in Canada because you can't go anywhere without finding NHL 2K10 or any other NHL game. It's Canada. We play hockey. Accept it. Mint in the box. Doesn't even look like it's been played. Now, this was a little bit more interesting. I had seen the advertisement. I don't think I've ever played the game. Kirby's Epic Yarn. Not worth an incredible amount or anything, but it's just in such good shape. Book, perfect condition. Just really nice to have. I'm going to add it into my collection. I'm going to build a little bit of a Wii collection. That's not something I'd ever even consider trying to get a complete collection of. But at the end of the day, you know what?
What?
At the end of the day, I might try to pick up some of the more desirable games over the summer. And on the note of desirable games, I saw this and I had to pick it up. Mario Kart Wii. Now, I told in an earlier pickup video, I mentioned getting a copy of, and I'm looking over, it was Super Smash Brothers Brawl for the Wii, because I was ordering a copy of this game for a friend of mine off eBay, because he wasn't really sure how to order it and didn't know what to pay, and it was really hard to find. He was trying to find it and he couldn't, and I just lucked into this one. So when I saw it, I had realized from looking for him how difficult it was to get this game. Mint in the box, I snapped it right up, and I think I got these two for $10, so good deal. Okay, so this is off kilter just a little bit, not game related. But first of all, I always like Blu-rays and I like superhero movies, so this is a bit of a joke because my daughter is huge into the superhero movies, the Marvel comic universe, and we watch all the movies together. We collect them all, and so I saw this for like $2, and I said, she's going to get a kick of it. I'm going to tell her I got her a great movie, and she's going to be really impressed. Green Lantern. Yeah, I got the reaction I wanted when I gave it to her. Now this one is really interesting. One thing that I collected back a few years ago, and I haven't been into it too much the last 4 or 5 years, I say, really since I got back into games, is wrestling videos. I get right into collecting old wrestling videos and such. You just don't see them around in the wild. I've never seen them around in the wild. I used to order some off eBay. I would download some and just to keep a record, to keep a copy of all the old pay-per-views and such, some of the specials, Saturday Night Main Events, and I grew up with it. I can remember watching the WWF when I was like 8, 9 years old on the local channel. I can remember going to see wrestling in Bangor, like Chief Jay Strongbow and Dino Bravo and Tony Guerrera back in probably about 78. But anyway, you just never see these wrestling tapes, the old Coliseum video. So I was shocked when I found a copy of Rampage 92. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me specifically. Of course, Ultimate Warrior on the cover, but this was the era that I watched the most. So I was really happy to find that. When I saw this one, this person had a lot of videotapes. When I found this one, first thing I did is I went to them and said, do you got any more wrestling tapes? And they said they didn't. I don't know how they ended up with this one because they had tons of movies, but just the one wrestling tape. But it's in really good shape. I was shocked to find it. Still, great pickup. And maybe sometime I'll dig out my wrestling tapes and I'll do a show or do an episode, make a video about collecting the old wrestling tapes. Because I do have quite a few. I used to buy a lot back in the 90s, and I'd work my way back and try to pick up a lot from the 80s. Okay, so one of the last stops that I made was at a friend's house who was having a yard sale, and we had gone to the same yard sale last year, and I can remember 64-bit picked up a bunch of PlayStation 2 games from him. So I thought, well, we might have some video games still there. So I went in, and he did. He had a whole big box of PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, stuff that he was done playing, and he had them really cheap, like $2 a piece. Can't beat that. And overall, there were a lot of sports games that I already had, but still, I picked up quite a few different ones. I got Outlaw Volleyball Remixed. These are all mint condition, by the way, too, like manuals and everything, because it's an adult. He takes really good care of his games. He plays them. Once he's done with them, he puts them away. And now that he didn't want any more, he sold them. Oh, but sorry, remember, we're in Canada. We have to have these. NHL 07 and NHL 08. I prefer Eric Stahl much more than Ovechkin. Oh well, he's on the cover. I don't really know how this one fit in, but we got Dance Dance Revolution Extreme 2 for the iToy. Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2. In the other lot of PlayStation games, my last PlayStation 2, the big pickup video that I did, there was a couple of different Cabela's Dangerous Hunts games. Well, they're pretty common, but anyway, this is a different one. I didn't have it. That's great. $2, can't beat that. Next one is The Getaway. Really common game, but still, it's a great adventure game. Third-person shooter. And finally, Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't think there were too many games that had been sold already in the bunch, but this is one of the few. This and The Getaway. Most of them were sports games and such, but I always like picking up any games like this. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's not a highly rated game, certainly not a valuable game, but good to have in the collection. Now, we got talking, and he said to me afterwards, he says, well, would you be interested in an Atari? And I said, well, Atari's my thing. I love Ataris, you know. And he said, well, I got one out back. Let me go dig it out, because his wife had been bugging him to get rid of it because he brought it from his house, from his home where he's from, and he never hooked it up. Wasn't even sure if it worked. I haven't seen if it worked yet or not. It really needs to be cleaned up, but this is what he came out with. Just going to hold it up for a minute. It is filthy dirty, but it's a Sears Telegame 6-switch. And I was really happy, like when I saw that it was a Sears. I've never had a Sears Atari before. I've got 2 or 3 Atari systems. I've never really set one up to get it working, other than I do most of it over emulation and such. But this is the one that I'm going to get working. I've got a bunch of joysticks. I've got paddles. I really enjoy playing the paddle games. But I can't wait to get this cleaned up, see if it works, and even if I'll tear it apart and get it going. But I was really happy to find it. He gave me a great deal on it. Such a good deal with the other games, all those PS2 games, and this. He gave me a couple bags of cartridges. Nothing too memorable within the cartridges. Probably about 20 games altogether. But just loose stuff. There were no joysticks, just sort of paddles. But still, he gave me a great deal. I ended up going back and give him a few extra bucks, because I think $40 was more than fair to pay him for it. It may not work, but at the end of the day, I'm going to clean it up. It's going to be a nice looking item for my collection. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Those are my pickups from the St. Stephen Townwide Yard Sale. I'll be back with one more pickup video. I've had some pretty amazing pickups. It's mostly going to be focused on my Xbox collection, because again, that's the primary one that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to go from the top down to the bottom, so I guarantee you I got some great pickups coming in that one. Anyway, I'm Papa Pete. Thanks a lot for watching, and take care, guys.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
You're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What the hell?